And welcome to the Metabolic Balance ANZ podcast. This is where we share real stories and insights into the world of metabolic balance and personalized nutrition. Today, I am delighted to welcome Dr. Sajid Burud from the United Arab Emirates. Dr. Sajid is a doctor of internal medicine and integrative medicine with nearly 25 years of experience. He has a specialty in gut health, longevity, personalized nutrition, preventative medicine. And I am absolutely delighted to say that he is a metabolic balance practitioner. And a big welcome to you.
Thank you, Cherry, for having me on this podcast. And delighted to be with you from where I started off with metabolic balance.
Yeah, so it's actually a wonderful it's wonderful for me to have you because I do believe that you actually heard about metabolic balance all the way over in the UAE from Australia.
Yes, it all started a few years back, probably 7 years, 5 or 6 years back, when as I'm a member of ACNIM, and I think you had sponsored ACNIM at that time, and that's where I saw metabolic balance.
Yeah, so ACNIM is the Australian College of Nutritional Environmental Medicine. Just so it's an association here for doctors in Australia and New Zealand, and you're a member as well, obviously, and you saw it. Yeah.
I saw it, was interested, went into details about it, and then connected with metabolic balance. So I probably see that you and Metabolic Balance Australia is me being part of Metabolic Balance, I can say.
I definitely think you're part of the Australian family, no question. Yeah, wonderful. So, what were your first experiences with the program then, for both yourself or your clients? Just what did you find?
Well, I started with myself when I was connected. So I was connected to Metabolic Balance Arabia, and Artemis was my coach, and she introduced me, explained me about it, and that's how we got into it. When I heard about it, read about it, it was quite interesting, and it gives you a balanced diet. And as a doctor, it made it easy. So I started it on myself because obviously even I was overweight and this thing. So it was a balanced nutritional program I could see, and with some evidence-based justifications for every meal plans what was created.
Yeah. So, what was your experience then? Can you share what happened for you?
My personal experience, yes, I was looking at something to change my life because I had just gone into a private practice, put up a setup, so was quite stressed out. And obviously, as we all are stressed, when we are stressed up, it was an overweight. I had touched to around about 102 kgs with my sugars going up and down. So it came at the right time, probably. So when I went into it into details and started the program with Artemis, it was a good experience on myself. I rapidly had my weight losses, plus my metabolism was better. So definitely my sugars were quite stabilized, and I didn't have to take any medications or things like that for it. So it was a good experience. And that when me told me that I need to invest further, and I became a metabolic balance coach. And I've been practicing that on my patients for the last, I can say, 5 years, 4 years.
Because I think it is testament that as doctors, you have an awful lot of knowledge. You know a lot about, diagnosing disease and prescribing, but actually then the real sort of nitty-gritty nutrition, sort of just the framework to give somebody the guidelines to really implement on a day-to-day basis. That's actually a lot more, that is challenging, isn't it?
It is challenging, but we try to educate the patients that medications is part, of treating a condition, but then it cannot be forever. So nutrition, as you said, I practice gut health. So gut health and most importantly, nutrition is essential part of any treatment plan we put together to our patients.
Yeah. And then as a doctor yourself, you found the benefits of just following a program yourself, obviously, because, even with all of your knowledge, you still needed the help. It's probably there.
Definitely, as doctors, we don't get into much. I mean, during our training, we are not go much into details about nutrition and what to eat. What I mean, we have a basic idea, but then we leave it to the clinical dietitians or nutritionists. But then definitely, we also need guidance, and that's the part of metabolic balance.
Yeah. So, one of the questions that we've been recently even asked, which is a fantastic question, and I was talking about it with some of my practitioners here in Australia. But what is metabolic balance? So, this is a two-sided question. Obviously, first of all, I want to, what is your take on actually metabolic balance in the body? So when the body has got metabolic balance, what does that really mean for you?
Metabolic balance is keeping, I mean, I would say that your metabolism, as well as not just the metabolism, but keeping your nutrients in balance, keeping your hormonal balance. So this in return gives a balance to your thought processes, your sleep, your digestion, your ability to repair your own cells body. So that's kind of what I would say is a metabolic balance in your body. When it's disturbed, I mean, we do see a lot of something what we call is metabolic syndrome, and the disease or associated along with metabolic syndrome, which could be either high blood sugars like diabetes, obesity, you have blood hypertension, hyperlipidemia, or even nowadays we see a lot of females with polycystic ovary disease.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is actually on the rise, isn't it? Polycystic ovary syndrome. Yeah, yeah, and it's because of this really underpinning of the blood sugar balance and the
Yeah, the metabolic imbalance. Yes.
yeah. So, in terms of how you then look at metabolic balance as the program, what do you see it as, what is it to you then as a doctor and a practicing coach?
Well, it has made my life easy in the sense that when we do consult with our patients, especially with, like I mentioned, metabolic syndrome, we need to tell them about nutrition and plans like that. So definitely, how do we guide them uh, in the right direction? And earlier, I mean, we didn't have the time or the expertise to tell them what exactly is good for you, not good for you, and we would refer them off to clinical nutritionists or dietitians. But now, as a doctor, I know I can put up their systems and get a metabolic balance nutrition program to them, and which is quite in detail and things like that, and hand it over to my patients. So, along with my medication treatment plan, if required, and all that stuff, we can give this lovely program, which has got all the right foodstuffs they can eat and improve their medical conditions. So that's made easy for us. I mean, our practice much better and much benefit to the patient. So,
And can you share some patient feedback or outcomes that you've seen? What are some cool things that you've seen?
well, usually you see a good feedback in the first 15 to 20 days. Like I've seen patients with, uh, especially with type 2 diabetes and hypertension, once they start losing weight, especially they start and the kind of ingredients they have, so they start having their sugars better in control. I've even had a lot of patients who have been, I won't say reversed, but then off medications of type 2 diabetes, and that's been a good achievement which I have seen in the last couple of years. So they are happy, they can focus better, perform better. As you know, diabetes will have a chronic inflammatory condition, so definitely they, in long term, they're very happy about it.
Yeah. So the results for the clients, do your patients find that MB is easy to follow?
They need, like as you said, it's in phases. So the initial a week is a little tough to them, but once they get the hang of it and they start feeling better and they see the results, then it's an easy thing to go ahead. And as you know, this is a quite sustainable program. So even after you finish with them on the phase 3, phase 4, they still have some of their principles which they follow. And that's great to hear.
I think it's really important to actually say that metabolic balance is quite challenging in the first few days to kind of really get going on, because we're asking people to do something actually quite different, aren't we? Which is what needs to happen. We need to get them eating and nourishing their bodies in a different way. So it is going to be a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, like one of the principles, which is not eating for 5 hours. We love snacking. Like I would have my coffees and snacks in between. But for me, the first week was when I did it on myself, the first week was challenging. But then after that, I enjoyed it. I mean, I still enjoy it. I enjoy the breaks of 5 hours.
Yeah, I actually think it allows you to actually relax. You really know what you're doing. You feel so much better. The body works so much better. And so suddenly everything it does make sense. I mean, I like there to be a lot of I call it realness. As in, I don't want to paint pictures that something is anything other than it isn't, or it is, whichever way around. Sorry, my language a bit strange there. That first few days when we're asking for change and we're really wanting change to happen, it can be challenging. But then as you move through the program, the the health changes you experience are what really keeps you going, and that's what's kept you going personally and professionally using metabolic balance, of course.
Yes, I mean, like I said, the first week, but after that, they have good sleep, they can focus well, you know. So, and even the energy levels are high. So these three things are something which keeps them moving, and that's lovely. The weight will come, it goes gradually. Some people have it slow, some people have it light, but I have seen none of them. I mean, they all have given good feedbacks on their sleep patterns, their focusing, cognitive function, as well as energy levels.
Yeah, absolutely. So the actual, have you done much of the retesting and the clinical, like the looking at the bloods again and retesting how their parameters have shifted?
Yeah, like over here we do as preventive medicine. Every 3 to 6 months we repeat their blood test. So definitely, like I said, uh, I have seen good results in type 2 diabetes and hypertension, and also we had a good number of patients who have had Hashimoto's thyroiditis and beautiful results on their thyroid levels coming down, and their requirements for medications had literally lowered down.
Yes, so that's quite satisfying as a doctor, is it not? To actually really get changes.
That's what I enjoy best with this program, see the results and see them.
Yeah, yeah. So, is there any other sort of stories or thing that you would share about what you see as the impact that metabolic balance has made for some of your clients?
I think this was the last 6 months back. There's a lady, she's around about 32 years old, obese, not obese, I can say overweight, uh, polycystic ovary, and even type 2. Her sugars were, I can say, pre-diabetes or something, and looking in for yeah, and she was married and unable to conceive. And we had a TS, she had what I can call is subclinical hypothyroid with TSH high values, the normal ones. So we said to her, and she was typically on metformin, taking tablets for it and for the insulin resistance and going on. But then when we tried her on metabolic balance program, I mean, it was difficult. She was a tough case. I mean, she wouldn't want to change her lifestyle, eating habits. She was an addicted coffee drinker with around about 4 cups of coffee a day. So she was a challenge to take it. I mean, she started off first 15 days, stopped it, went back. So it took a month for her to get her onto track. And that's another part of the we being as metabolic balance practitioners and coach, guiding and focus, making them focus on this brand so that they don't give up. So once we got that to her done, and you won't believe, last month she has conceived and now she's on her way of prenatal. So that's good. Sugar levels are good, so probably her pregnancy is going to go very well with those sugar levels, down on this. Thyroid levels are all normal. No more, antibodies have gone down for her thyroid antibodies, and that's good for us. She has lost around about 8.5 kgs in the last 4 months, so that's another good sign.
That is so. I love stories like that, and that's why I just we love metabolic balance in that way, because those are the stories we hear. We've got lots of little MB babies around the world, I think.
True. We've also seen we've also seen good results in arthritis patients, especially autoimmune arthritis. So we've seen them, as you know, metabolic programs also reduces inflammation and things like that. So we have seen good results when they are on a diet or in a metabolic balance program. So in patients of arthritis, especially rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Is there anything else that you would share that you makes your life easy about, in practice, or just makes you enjoy practice so much better when you can get these results for clients?
Well, yeah, now what I've done is in my practice and as part of it. So we start coaching or getting other doctors or our clinical nutritionists get become metabolic balance practitioners or coaches, so that makes it easy for us. We understand the same language, and then when I have a patient, I work along with the clinical nutritionist, and we put them on a metabolic balance program. Over here we have the fortunate to even work with kitchens who prepare foods and give them, because I stay in Dubai. It's a busy lifestyle, so people who don't cook at home, and people are working, working pressure and all that stuff. So we're fortunate to work with a couple of kitchens who provide these meals for them also. Although it's easy to cook and easy to make, but with busy schedules, so it's shown good results, and that's the we have an edge over the other practitioners, that we just don't practice by giving medications. We take an holistic approach, especially a nutritional approach, and that's an advantage to us in our practice.
I think that's one of the key things that I think is where medicine is also moving. We're moving into the era of real personalized care, preventative care, longevity. People are wanting to actually have these life hacks, and body hacks. I think that's body hacking. Have you heard? Do you have that phrase?
Biohacking, yeah.
Yeah, biohacking. Because ultimately, you could kind of argue that's what we're doing in some ways. We're in a very, in a very scientific and personalized way. We're just saying this is the fuel that your body needs to get it into balance so that you can perform at your best.
Yeah, because it's not about, earlier it was just about increasing your lifespan. So it's no more just increasing your lifespan, it's increasing as a healthy lifespan. So you want to be healthy as you get older, not to have your mental function to be good, no Alzheimer's, no dementia, no metabolic syndromes. So that's what everybody's focusing on, a healthy longevity.
Yeah. So health span equals lifespan. Because when that's not syncing up, really, why do you want a long lifespan if you're actually in the last 10, 20 years? No disrespect here, Dr. Sajid, but you don't want to sit in a doctor's waiting room for the last 10 years of your life.
True. You want to travel the world, you want to be busy, not travel hospitals, or, that's true.
Or specialists. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So where do you see your practice moving in the future? Do you think it will continue to offer this personalized nutrition approach?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, since last year we have focused more and working with Metabolic Balance Arabia, and now we are trying to expand all over the GCC and try to get more metabolic balance coaches under umbrella. But then, yes, as my practice, it's an essential part. I mean, all of my patients are recommended to go on a metabolic balance program. So, and I believe they are also innovating themselves in metabolic balance, and having much more evidence-based studies being done with this program. So definitely.
Is there anything that, just as we finish off, that you would say just to help people maybe just get started on looking after themselves better? So, just some general advice that would really make a difference for their health as a whole. So, just, obviously we have our metabolic balance guidelines and we have the rules and we have the program. But I also want to give people just a few snippets of your strong ideas of what make a real difference for long-term health for people.
I tell all my patients that our body is a miracle. It has got its own healing power. So it's what we put in that's going to show that how our body is going to heal. So it's not medications, it's what we do with our body. So eating right is most essential part about it. Sleeping well is essential for us. So it gives us time to repair. And also balancing it out with not taking unnecessary stress. And that's how the body's going to heal itself, and then we're here to support it. That's all.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, it's actually truly getting the link between what we do and how we feel. They're very intertwined, and they mirror each other. So when we do look after our body, it looks after us and allows us to have the fun and do the good stuff in life. So thank you so much for joining me. It's been an honor to talk to you, and I am so excited for all of your patients across Dubai and the United Arab Emirates as well to be able to have access. Metabolic Balance Arabia, thank you so much for all of your support to me as well here in Australia. And I really am looking forward to working again even closer and hearing more success stories. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Cherry, for inviting me. It's a pleasure and to see you back from where I started my metabolic balance journey. So thanks a lot.
Yes. Thank you. And I would love to have you on even, again to talk about more in-depth things around what you see in practice too. Thank you.